Hey guys, with a lot of pleasure that I'm here with Michael Maidens again. Some of people know Michael from the last interview I did it with the launch of Hunger for Change and talking about marketing and stuff. But I happen to have the opportunity to interview him again. And in this interview, we're gonna talk about launch secrets. You know, Michael has managed a launch of a film called Hunger for Change. This is just one of the several launches he managed, and in this series of interviews that I'm doing right now, Michael, probably you don't know much because it just happened to be there and I managed to get you here. By the way, thank you very much for sitting on the chair without knowing what we're going to talk about somehow. And I guess this make it very authentic. But my idea is actually to interview it, to understand the little bits and pieces that you used on your launch that made the difference. We all know that we both follow the product launch formula as the fundamental of our launches, but sometimes it's like a dish when you cook, right? So you follow a formula, but then you put your own spices, and sometimes these are the spices that make a difference in your niche. So this is what we are gonna talk about. But before we start that, for the people that didn't see the other interview, talk to me about what was the Hunger for Change launch.
The Hunger for Change launch, yeah, it was a launch of a free film. So we launched it free. It was a worldwide free screening that went for about 10 days back in March 2012, and the launch was an amazing event. It was so much fun. We had the documentary was an amazing product, and the launch went from in the big lead up. We did a 21-day lead up. That's one of the secrets that one of the little spices that I changed the formula slightly, and we built up, I think it was 120,000 people opted in the pre-launch phase.
Yes.
And then the 10 days that the film was actually open to watch for free, I think by the end of the time it was 220,000 people had opted in to actually become a part of the launch event, which was an amazing fun time.
So how it's amazing. How did you actually 110,000 people on the pre-launch when the filming was not screening, right?
Yeah.
And how did you manage to do that? Was it a universe, or was actually some clever stuff that was done that made the difference there? And I hope it was the second question. Was that luck?
It was luck.
No.
It was great fun. I mean, a lot of it was about coming up with an awesome story and an awesome event. So one of the big risks that we're taking was actually to release this film for free. So it was the first time anyone had ever, created a documentary, and the premiere was actually going to be given away for free. Like, it's normally the biggest thing that people try and keep closest to their chest is the product that they just spent a lot of time building
and money.
And then so we flipped that completely and actually went, well, let's give it away for free. And so that became something awesome. It was a great story, and we built a really good purpose around that story as well, because the purpose was to actually, we believed, okay, this product, what does the product want? Where would if the product could talk to us, what would it want? And what we believed was that it wanted to be seen by as many people in the world as possible. So we actually thought, wow, well, how about we take away all those obstacles for people to view it and actually give it away for free for a period of time. So it became this story, it became this purpose, it became this thinking on a world scale. If this knowledge could be in people's minds and they could make better, in this case, health choices and food choices, and actually empower themselves, like, how much of a better place would the world be?
Yeah.
So that story in that pre-launch really went viral. A lot of people were just, the trailer is what people were watching in the pre-launch, and it really got people amped up and excited.
And how did you actually give the initial push? Because you can create an awesome trailer, an awesome story, and it sits there with 60 views.
Yeah.
And of course it may get viral, but
slowly,
it may get slowly, despite being awesome. But what was the intelligence behind giving the first push?
Well, again, it was the excitement and the awesomeness and the risk of the event, because that then embraced affiliates, and actually,
so the affiliates,
they loved the idea as well.
Yeah.
So it's almost like when in a in an affiliate launch, you try and launch to your affiliates. So then they think it's amazing and they want to get on board. So it's about having something so amazing that so many other people want to promote and be a part of. It was the first time on the market, obviously, a launch, and it was exciting. It was an exciting story for the affiliates to tell. It was an exciting story for us to tell our initial list of followers, and then obviously everyone wanted to share it with everyone. One of the strategies early as well was it was a topic that you probably want to talk to your family and friends about if you think that they need to, maybe address their health and what their food choices are. But it's the thing that you don't talk about.
So the film does for you.
The film was a way for you to go, hey, during these 10 days, why don't you check out this? You've just got to put your email address in here and you can watch the whole thing for free. So it was an opportunity for the film to be a third person in maybe a discussion that you can't really have one-on-one with someone. So that was a part of the strategy too, was that it had almost viral built into the product, because it was, and the actual launch strategy, because it was something that, wow, okay, I can't talk about this next week, I can't talk about it next month, because it's only available for these 10 days.
Scarcity event.
It was the scarcity of the event that actually pushed people to actually have that discussion now.
And one thing that I'm actually catching is, which I want to bring up again. Sometimes we are launching, and we always have our customer in mind. Can it help our customer? But it's interesting that there is a second avatar or second target market where you actually was thinking about, or I actually interpreted it, was thinking about your customer, but you were thinking about your affiliates as well.
Yes.
And when you touch the heart of your partners, they will mail, they will promote with heart, and they will promote as if they would do it even for free, right? And this is sometimes we as launching people, and maybe you on the other side of the screen. In my last launch, I actually think deeply carefully on my partners, and this was my first launch, which I actually built up an avatar and actually start talking with my partners in the sense of an avatar for the launch. Some part of the pre-launch content videos were actually meant for the partners rather than that stuff. But it's really good that you actually have this. So one thing to be, but great.
It definitely was. It was definitely about the affiliates were looking at the money second. They were looking at they wanted their audience genuinely. They wanted their audience genuinely to actually be a part of this product launch, because and they're the type of affiliates, I suppose. There's the affiliate game where they're just they're looking at the return on clicks and that whole sort of world, and then but then there's people that have got real relationship equity in their lists. They've got real relationship equity, and they really care for their audience and their followers, and they see a product that they just think to themselves, my audience has to have that product. That is so in line with my purpose, my beliefs, that I really want my audience to see that. And obviously you would hope that there's a financial return for them.
Yes, and that comes with the second part of the question. How did you actually maximize it? Because of course you're doing the good to roll, but if you don't, as a company, if you don't maximize profit and you don't maximize revenue, probably won't make another documentary. You won't, care about your input. What are the tips that what are the things that were not kind of on the book that you actually did that helped you really get to that 7-figure revenue after giving this stuff for free? Okay,
so a launch, and you know this obviously, the offer at the end of the launch, well, I believe has to be the next logical step in their journey. So the pre-launch takes people on a journey, the actual the launch takes them on a journey, and the offer at the end of the journey should be the next logical step to continue that journey. And the way that the product launch formula works is that this intimacy, this relationship, and everything has been built to such an awesome strength that they don't want it to end. So in this case, the next step in the journey was to actually purchase a copy of the physical DVD, so it was the actual physical film. And also the recipe book, which was enabling them to implement the new mind shift that they had just taken with food and
Yeah.
make food choices. So it was a DVD, and it was a recipe book. Now, in
It
this
is as
case,
if, and I'm interrupting you, but I'm just getting some realizations, and I want to make a note. It is as if the video, the movie itself, which is part of the product, is the pre-launch content video.
it is as well.
Wow.
Well-
But yeah, and then the next logical steps to buy the recipes
Yes.
and the interviews to implement.
Yeah. So the film was one of those films. It's not like a story with a plot where once you've watched it once, it's like, I know the story, I know the twists. This documentary was typically something that you would want to watch over and over and over again,
Yeah.
because there was so much knowledge in there, and we knew that. So it was not as if giving it away for free was going to be the end, because we have people telling us that they watch it every week to actually stay in that mindset
So
and
that
make those
they
healthy
get it,
choices
right?
every single week. Yeah. So
Awesome.
that was built in, and so that was how we monetized it. So it was amazing. In the 10 days that the film was available for free, the shopping cart was open as well, and we did 21,000 orders.
21,000 orders.
Yep. And the average sale of each order was $50.
Wow, I am not good at math, but it's about a million, right?
Yeah, just over $1 million.
Yeah.
in
Awesome.
US dollars of money that came in the bank in that time.
During launch, did you actually did webinars?
Webinar.
Well,
No, there was no
ju-
webinars.
Just mailing
Yeah, just mailing.
to the offer. Was there a sales video or a sales page?
There was a sales page, yes. Yep.
with why they would buy it.
Yeah, yep. And a little bit of the details of the recipe book, because they'd seen the film, so it had the trailer, and then talking a little bit about the recipe book as well. So there was 3 different combinations. There was the film, and I think the film was priced at, the DVD was priced at $34.95. The recipe book was $49.95,
Yeah.
which are both very high price points for those types of products.
Yes.
And then there was a combination of the two, and I think it was like a $10 saving for the combination of the two, so maybe around 70,
Okay.
75, 74. Yeah.
Wow. Now I'm about to ask a quite difficult question, because despite having a great success, my gosh, huge list, huge positioning, awesome monetization, doing great things for the world, and whenever we come to this, it's often, I'm not sure if you have asked this question, but you also have a step back, is that if I could step time and I could do something different on that launch, even though it was already awesome, there's nothing to be fixed itself. Nothing is perfect in the launch, because it's real life. Real life is like no plan survives the battle. But if you could choose one thing that you would actually have done differently on that launch, that you believe that it would even help it to have a great impact, what would that be?
Yeah, I would have mailed in the last, I think I would have mailed again to remind people it was closing. I remember making that, they received an email about 2 days before the end of the closed cart, and that was the last piece of communication.
Okay, so they didn't receive a mail on the day.
There should have been a 36-hour and probably a 12-hour thank you email.
Yes.
So that was something that could have made a bigger impact.
At the time, why didn't you do it? Did you forget it, or it
No,
was actually
it was a conscious
concern?
decision. Yeah, and it was more of a thinking about not wanting to burn the list, and actually think about, we'll capture them down the track. It wasn't as if this was the end.
And what did make you think differently?
Now,
as
I realise now that that's actually doing people a favour, to actually remind them that it's finishing. And I didn't, at the time, didn't see it like that. I saw it as annoying people, and that we had maybe talked enough during the time, and I didn't really think of it as. And I now see that in the launches that I've done since then, probably 10 or 11 launches since then, the 36-hour gets a great response, and the 12-hour gets twice as good as the response of the 36, and not necessarily because you're hassling people, but because you're actually doing people a favour, because we all live such busy lives, and it's great to go, that's that deadline. And human nature is we leave it to the last minute.
Many of us.
The other person that we actually thought about during the launch and the launch strategy was not just the avatar and not just the people that we had that we could contact directly, but we thought about the people the next level out from that. And we realized that our people who are following us became our soldiers. So you have the people who are on your list and the people that you know that you can communicate directly with, but then we knew that there was another avatar out there that we couldn't contact directly, but we were using our actual people who are following us, who are already maybe shifted their mindset to empower them with this tool to be able to go that next ripple out.
How did you do that?
How did we do it? Well, the film did it. The film did it, but we actually had to think and suggest in a language where this is a great opportunity for you to share this with family and friends who you know need this life-changing and
So this message was
message.
implicit on the
Yeah.
the movie, and it wasn't by chance. It was carefully designed.
Yeah, it was designed like that because we did a survey leading up to 6 months out when we were planning the strategy, and we realised that the majority, well, let's say 70% of our audience were actually healthy and wanted to maintain that health. And so then we were thinking, well, this can help so many unhealthy people, but they're not the people already listening to us. So, but we knew that they could also have a massive impact. So then we thought, how do we actually, and that was about creating this event as the excuse to share, not just with our avatars, to say, hey, this is awesome. This is a chance to reach the next people out as well.
It's a great idea, actually. It's very unintuitive, but sometimes the people that are listening to, the people who actually need your product is not actually searching for your product. And you use the people who are already listening to you to spread that, to present, to make that possibility, to put that possibility in front of the other people that were not necessarily looking for it, and then you could make it. That's actually a very genius move, actually.
Yeah, so they became the bridge to a whole other avatar who weren't we didn't have direct contact with.
Wow.
So so that's kind of cool. So sort of three. So you asked before. So there's the avatar who you know that you can contact who are already following you. There's the affiliates as well, to actually make sure that they believe that the event is an awesome event. It's a story. Everyone loves a story, and everyone loves making a big impact on the world. And so it fitted a lot of those things. And then the third avatar was the ripple effect of the actual people following it, sharing it. So it was designed for them as well.
Awesome. Well, Mike, thank you very much for your generosity. I know that we have some nuggets here, and it's great to have you, someone that's actually doing this launch. I know you'll do launching in different sorts of things for products, and but I don't know anyone else, or maybe there is, who actually have such a great success in adapting it to the documentary business. And I'm great that you have you're generous enough to sit here without many preparation and trust me to ask you the right questions, so you can also contribute to the people outside there. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Erico. Thanks for having me.